While we're getting smarter on the pitch, wiser makes my home smarter.
After two amazing wins on the road, particularly last weekend, back to Sandy Park this weekend, and a huge game against Sale.
Oh, definitely. I mean, those 2 weeks they had similar qualities, and I think this is the odd thing when you're a coach and when you're there at the ground and when you see the build up and the training and then what's happening during the game. In a lot of ways, they were similar, and people, I suppose a supporter might just go, "Well, that's a ridiculous thing to say," but what did they have? They were pressurised games on the scoreboard at all times. Mistakes could hurt you at any time. You had to try and take your points when you could, and you had to stand and defend, importantly at times. And both games were like that. The big difference was just the opportunity to play. It was so different. And I think if people weren't at the Newcastle game, they genuinely wouldn't realise what the conditions were like. And I still look at that game and I go, if you let the opposition into your 22 3 times, and one of them is a run through because they've intercepted on their own 22 pretty much, you're not going to lose many games of rugby like that. And we never deserved to lose that game. And yes, we had some issues. Our line didn't function as well as it should have done. We had good 5 metre pressure that we didn't convert a few times. But overall, that was, in a lot of ways, a top quality performance. There's a lot of teams in the Premiership would have turned up there in those kind of conditions after Newcastle having had their rest week and the opportunity to do 2 weeks prep into a game, and wouldn't have come away with those points. And I actually think that was the backbone of us being able to do what we did at Northampton, because we worked so hard, we fought so well, we came away with the points, we achieved something quite important there, and that gave us like a springboard to go and attack a game in a different way, because the conditions were so good at Northampton. We knew we could make it about a game of winning rugby. We knew we could play phase play. We knew we could go after tries, and that really was the backbone there. And that's what we did. We stuck at it, just like we stuck at a different game plan in Newcastle. We knew we had to kick and compete and defend in Newcastle, and we stuck at it. Northampton, we knew we'd have to go and score tries, and we stuck at it and we did it. Even though we actually have a good try disallowed, but we stick at it and we score those tries, and that's a great credit to the players. And even when you think after half time, 2 quick fire tries, one of them where our scrum disintegrates, most teams buckle then. That's it, they're done. The biggest credit I can say is that I know if I was playing in a pack of forwards and we've just pushed the opposition off their own ball and run a try in, you think you've done it. And to be fair, we didn't buckle at all. And we got on with things and we controlled most of the rest of the game. And even when we go back to being tied, it didn't ever feel like, you were there, it didn't ever feel like we weren't going to create the next opportunity. And boom, there we have a break and we create the next opportunity. And I've got to give a lot of players a lot of credit for that. And probably the bigger indication for me, and the thing I'm the most pleased about, is our physical stats were outstanding. We had players who put in their best distances, their best high intensity meters over the last 2 seasons, and groups of them, not just 1 or 2 guys. We had like 7 or 8 guys putting their best physical performances of the season. That is fantastic. That is on an upward performance curve that we've got to keep driving to the end of the season now. Because if we stay on that, we're going to be a good and competitive side over the rest of this year. But that's what we've got to do. We've got to decide to stay at that level of energy and that level of competitiveness, and play with that amount of ball in hand and with that quality.
What are the threat for Sale this weekend? What are you expecting?
Well, obviously, they've really challenged sides defensively. Obviously, good line speed, good physicality, good tackle completion. They're well organised in that department. They're happy to defend for periods of time. And on top of that, they've got some big physical specimens in the team right across the board. It's not just in the forwards. And they challenge at set piece as well. So there's challenges, and obviously they've got a good goal kicker and playmaker at 9 and 10. So we've got challenges there, but we've kind of enjoyed those challenges when we play Sale. I think that's the key for us. The key for us is to understand how good they are, but relish it a bit and enjoy it and go after it again. Because I think that's what we're doing. We're going after our levels of performances. We're going after tries. We're going after positive things in the game. And that's all I can really talk about to the players. Is let's go after the positive things in the game. Let's go after the positive effects we can have. Team
news wise, you're bolstered by a number of players coming back into the reckoning. You must be chuffed a bit for that.
Yeah, it's been
a while.
It's been a while. I mean, it's been a while for Jax Bermuda for obvious reasons. A double injury while he was rehabbing, but they are what they are. But he looks great in training. He's absolutely chomping at the bit to get stuck in. Harry's now back in full train. Harry Williams, Hugh Townsend now had a couple of weeks under his belt, which is great. Will Whitty's now back in full training. Again, gives us a bit more options in the back five of the scrum, so that's fantastic. Obviously, Sam Skinner also back from Scotland, Hoggy back from Scotland. So, we're thickening out a little bit, and obviously the form of some of the players across our back three from last week was outstanding. So we've got really good selection decisions to make in the back three of the field, and likewise we're starting to thicken out a little bit around the back five of the scrum. Albeit we're still missing 3 or 4 guys, but it's coming there. It's feeling like we're getting on that upward curve again.
One of those missing is Sean Lonsdale, who said this week he's off at the end of the season. Just reflect a little bit on his time and just reassure the fans that you are working behind the scenes on some new signings and stuff.
Yeah, I know it's tough because, as I said on my other interview, we don't announce people until it's in full agreement with the player who's coming and their club. And I know not everybody does that anymore, but we've always kind of stuck to that kind of unwritten rule. So like I said, we've signed a back row and we've signed a second row already, and we're still looking for another back five forward. So replacements are on their way, so people don't need to worry too much about that. But on Sean's been great here, absolutely great. Came in as a young guy on an opportunity, really, and has just grown and has played in some very important games for us and had some important contributions and played an important part in games we had to win. That have helped us lift trophies, and that's a big credit to him. And he's kind of grown as a player, grown as a man here. Very important guy within our squad. We would have loved to have kept him, so there's not been any issue here. But the opportunity to go back to Wales, where he's Welsh qualified, they were interested in getting him into their system, which obviously is a real positive for Sean. And I don't mind saying, there are pressures around the salary cap now that have made clubs outside of England financially more attractive and more capable of competing at salary level that is difficult for some players, especially when we've got international back five forwards in our squad. So there are challenges right across the board, but for me it's a real positive move for Sean. He goes with our best wishes. I know he'll be fully involved with us until the end of the season. He's a good guy. It's a nice scenario. It's a positive scenario always round. He came here. He's been important for us. We would love to have kept him, but he's had other opportunities that he's deemed to have taken. That's how you want relationships to end, And I'm delighted for Sean. And like I said, I know he'll be fully with us till the end of the season, and I wish him all the best when he moves on.
Thanks, Rob.